Welcome, and thank you for joining me to talk about sex trafficking. I will present an informative summary of what sex trafficking is and how prevalent it is in our society today. First, we will look at what is sex trafficking and define it clearly. Trafficking, according to Webster's New World Dictionary in 1972, states that trafficking is the buying, selling, and bartering of trade. Combine that with the meaning of sex, and you have sex trafficking, the sexual exploitation of women and children today. This, many argue, is a form of slavery. Slavery is defined as a bondage, servitude, a condition of submission to an authority. Experts agree that there are over 100,000 American children who are currently being trafficked in our neighborhoods across the U.S. And that source was provided by Erica Greaves in her article that talks about sex trafficking and prostitution, published in October of 2011. Next, we'll talk about what type of profits are yielded in this industry. As you can see, human trafficking is the second largest global organized crime today. It generates approximately $31.6 billion per year. So basically, let's reflect back. We define sex trafficking as the trade or bartering or selling of sex. The issue of trafficking is presented when we look at a basic supply and demand issue. There's a demand in our society for sex, whether it be in the form of online or other escort services. There are people that have a demand for this, whether it's in our business world or in an entertainment society. So the supply for it basically is brought about through pimps and other lords that will hire women and coerce them into this lifestyle. Now we talk about how prevalent is this issue in our society today. Many of us may know that sex trafficking is an issue that has always been present in Europe. And on a global level, it's primarily seen and originated kind of in the Southern Europe bloc. There's a lot of women that are trafficked from Southeast and Eastern Europe. In the U.S., sex trafficking is highly mobile, moving from state to state, city to city. There are over 20 states that are listed today as a housing for and documented for trafficking. Even though our U.S. Department have made great efforts to make other countries accountable for this issue, there are still problems in our society and in the U.S. where it's not being handled appropriately. Next, we'll look at life as a sex trafficking victim. Basically, you're looking at men taking children, starting maybe at the age of young teens to grown women, and the women are forced into sexual acts. If they do not follow suit with what is expected of them, they will be beaten, sexually abused. So it creates a very hostile environment for them, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. For women who want to leave this situation and for children that want to get out, it's clearly next to impossible. Not only do they live with the fear of physical abuse, but also once they leave, how can they again become part of society and a healthy child, mother, daughter again? To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this. Knowing what sex trafficking is, knowing some of the statistics of how it is prevalent both in the world globally and here in the States, I ask you to consider and to think, now that you know about it, what will you do?